We have got a Boston council member who is calling for a revolution of equity in some pretty crazy tirades. Check out this video. I've heard so many of you mention Seattle soy boys. Those are weak, blue-haired men who have lost their traditional masculinity. It's undeniable that such weakened masculinity in urban areas, it's had significant impacts. These feminized men are easier to control and less likely to push back, aligning with a societal shift that labels outspoken men as sexist or misogynist. Meanwhile, mainstream media demonizes traditional masculinity, calling it toxic. Research shows a dramatic decline in men's testosterone levels and physical strength over recent decades, influenced by sedentary lifestyle and poor diets. That's why I recommend Black Forest Testosterone with Tonkat Ali supplement. This plant-based product promotes increased testosterone and muscle mass while reducing stress. I've personally experienced improved recovery times and overall energy levels. Dubbed the feminization killer, this supplement combines two potent natural testosterone boosters. It's an effective way to counteract soy boy syndrome. With Black Forest Testosterone, I've seen noticeable improvements in energy, strength, and sleep quality. You too can experience these benefits with an exclusive buy two, get one free offer available on their website. Black Forest Supplements is operated by patriots committed to resisting a system that aims to weaken us. By supporting this sponsor, you can help sustain this channel and reclaim robust health and confidence. Check out the special link below for this promotion. Thank you for your support.
What the do I have to do in this council in order to get respect as a black woman?
The white counselors here have somehow figured out a way and taken advantage of an opportunity to take redistricting and give it to a white counselor. The fear is that, and this is, again, reporting out, the fear is that because some people are afraid that their district will change and diversify, like Council Baker's district, that people will run for office and that person will be a person of color. And so everyone is now super afraid that because Councilor Braden, a white woman, has it, that now that this body, because counselors, for example, all the white counselors here stick together, that they will vote or try to move the districts in a way that is not diverse sufficiently to be able to vote in electives of color. We're going back and forth about allegations, but here, people are not innocent until proven guilty. People are guilty first. People are crucified. People are lynched. Same old tricks, same masters though. And still, people, now everything's changed and everybody's upset. People are calling me and telling me, don't say anything, stay in your lane, be quiet, sit down, you will lose your seat, they won't vote for you. Fight, don't fight. What the do I have to do in this council in order to get respect as a black woman? I'm not afraid of anybody here. When I make a mistake, I will be clear. I don't hate you as a white woman. I don't hate you as a white man. I am sick and tired of this body so stupidly racially divided, so afraid, so depraved. People with no faith because they are afraid of their losing their advancement. They're afraid of bargaining. They're afraid of leveraging. Oh my God, I can't even call you cowards because desperation deserves mercy. Here's a redistricting. Fine, we give it to a white woman. Can we all get along? Can we get together? Can we love each other now? Can we make sure that black and brown babies don't die? Can we make sure that cops don't kill before people are proven innocent? Can we do that? No, because this body crucifies you first because of allegations. This is not a court. You don't get to crucify people before they're proven guilty. They're innocent until proven guilty. I
am here to represent every single Black woman and man that suffers in the community. God has my back. I am not afraid to not have political or any type of affiliations or connections. I came here, I fear none, no man but my Lord. I came here to serve people. I came here to love. I came here to grow. But people talk about this racial equity thing. It's all fake. And you do politics and you hurt each other. And yet, here I am, a 5-foot-tall African woman from the projects. And I'm here to tell you, if the voters don't vote me back,
So what we've got is a situation nationwide where so many of the political figures that were brought in, that were elected into office during the whole George Floyd deal, they're going bye-bye with Mike Schmidt, the Schmidt Show in Portland, a George Soros-backed district attorney who was elected in a landslide in 2020, August of 2020. And a couple of days ago, he got beat out by a guy who ran on a pro-police, get tough on crime platform in Portland, in Multnomah County, in Oregon, and won handily. I think 56 to 40, whatever those numbers are, right? I mean, it was not even close, not even close. Citizens of Portland said, yeah, no. And we've seen it time and time again. Chesa Boudin, California, district attorney there. We've got other political figures that are being, recall processes going on, and just general elections where you're seeing that shift, that far left shift is no longer popular. Oh yeah, we need to disassociate ourselves. We're even seeing that at the White House level, right? Ooh, good Lord. People are really upset with this whole migration thing. I guess we went a little too far on allowing just millions and millions and millions of people into the country illegally. And then, what do you know? The existing residents of the United States, the existing citizens of the United States, they're not cool with that. They're not down with that. So this last minute effort before the 2024 elections, all right, let's get really tough on immigration here. We're going to have Mexico help out. We're going to do an executive order. We're close to an executive order, which Biden's going to point to, hey, I'm tough on immigration as well. When we know darn well he's done 64 executive actions, that have countered all that Trump did to get his 40-year record low immigration numbers during his 4 years in office, right? Biden just did the opposite because he's trying to basically placate folks like the council member we saw right here, Boston council member calling for revolution, alarms liberal colleagues with wild tirades and threats, because the Democratic Party knows that these far left, whatever you want to call them, extremists, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. All the crazy stuff we've seen going on around the country as far as this whole Israel as an oppressor, supporting the terrorists of Hamas, all of that stuff. Yeah, we're seeing that get kind of pushed away. No, we don't really support that. No. The far left stuff is no longer in vogue. It's no longer, where you want to be politically, because people are looking, going, we need more of a moderate approach to this. We need a law and order approach to this, and all this crazy defund the police. And you could hear it in this woman's speech here right off the bat as well. Let's get into the story. And if you've been following this one, this is the first time I've touched on this one. I've been following Tiffany Henyard in Chicago, in the Dalton, and she's a mayor and a supervisor. Got to check that one out. A Democratic Boston City Council member who called to dismantle the white backdrop in America and create a revolution is starting to disturb her liberal colleagues with her wild antics and threats, according to a source who spoke with Fox News Digital. The source is a City Hall employee who requested to be anonymous because council member Tanya Fernandez Anderson has created an unhealthy environment. That sound familiar? Tiffany Henyard? Yeah. Village of Dalton? Yeah. Unhealthy environment. The employee believes Fernandez Anderson is a troubled person who uses accusations of racism to get people to fall in line. The source discussed the challenges of having someone in the city's government who has been, in their view, hostile, verbally abusive, and anti-Semitic. Yeah, a lot of that going on out there, isn't there? These far left nut jobs in our universities who, Portland State, Portland being the poster child of far left activity and just letting it go, letting Antifa just do whatever the F they want. $750,000 in damage to the Portland State University Library before you even get to all the other, intrinsic damage to the computer systems and all that good stuff. Yeah, it's going to be way over $1 million. I mean, it's this far left stuff is just, it's nutty. You've let it go too far. And I think the vast majority of Americans are like, no, we want to disassociate ourselves with that because that is extreme. People are intimidated by her, and that intimidation does work, the source said. They said some members would give in to her because no one wants to disagree with Tanya because she's unpredictable. When I saw her spoke, I thought, okay, she's really angry and passionate, or she's got some mental issues. Maybe it's a combination. I don't know. It's hard to say. But these elected officials that get up and just scream and rant and rave, that does not appear to be a long-term strategy because oftentimes they do not make it through their first, their first term of office and get reelected. Fernandez Anderson was elected in November 2021 and self-described as the first formally undocumented African-born immigrant and first Muslim elected in the city of Boston. Boston, their mayor. Ugh. Yeah. Since being elected, she stated her goal is to create a revolution for equity. All right. It will be equity, and I hope that we don't have too many disagreements in there, she said in an interview in December 2021. Remember, all these politicians were brought in because we had the whole George Floyd thing. Take to the streets, F the police, no justice, no peace. Well, now we've walked that back just a scooch. Yeah, we've walked it back a lot because it didn't make any sense. We saw criminal activity just absolutely spike. The people that could least protect themselves and take on additional criminal activity within their communities, they have basically said, no, we need to move somewhere away from this. This does not work. How about former President Trump's, how about his rally in the Bronx that had how many thousands of people? I mean, that was pretty crazy. That's the Bronx, folks, right? And I think what you're seeing is a lot of folks at the lower socioeconomic end looking around going, hey, people I voted for, Democrats, they're bringing in all the illegal immigrants. They're getting all the money and we're working to pay for them. And we've been here all along and we're getting Jack. We're getting the opposite of Jack. We are paying for them to get all these benefits. Where's my $10,000 debit card? I think you've got a ton of that going on. And there's a real switch happening. And so politicians like this in Boston, that's not going to work out well in the end, I don't think. I think that systemic racism is long overdue for us to overthrow in order for us to create a revolution that brings about change. Since then, Fernandez Anderson has become known for her public outbursts featuring swearing, yelling, and screaming at public city council meetings, according to the source. The last thing someone wants to be labeled as a racist in this city, the source said. Nobody wants to be labeled as a racist, but that is exactly what this individual is focusing on, racism and equity and all that goes with that. Fernandez Anderson refers to her own tirades as giving smoke. Ooh, smoke. Giving that smoke. Don't come here for me, because if you want smoke, you'll get smoke. I'm not afraid of any of you, she said during a March 2024 meeting. It's a threat. I feel like it's a threat, the source said about her comments. Is it a threat? If it's not, it's a thinly veiled threat, right? Is she really threatening to do anything? Yeah. During a tirade in August 2022, the council member also called the city council depraved. All right. And that's going a little far. And stupidly racially divided because of disagreements about redistricting. Okay. You can't point everything at race. You just can't. You're going to have some disagreements. You're going to have some discussions that go against what you believe in. And that to me is kind of what has happened and is happening in Boston. I can't even call you guys cowards because desperation deserves mercy, Fernandez Anderson told her colleagues. Your votes here sometimes are racist. I'm here to represent every black woman and man in the community. I don't know that every black woman and man in the community wants her to be their representative. I hear a few people at the council meetings, doing their typical rah, rah, rah. And you'll see that with Tiffany Henyard as well. She is basically running the village of Dalton into the ground financially. She's taking money from another township that she represents. And, you've just got these crazy storylines and racism is brought into that argument as well. Hey, you're coming after me because I'm a black woman. No, they're coming after you. The FBI is coming after you because there's some allegations against you that don't fly when you're a public official. So here's some statements that I don't think are going to go far as far as a political career goes, but we heard her say it. What the F do I have to do in this effing council to get respect as a black woman? Well, I mean, maybe start by not dropping the F-bomb. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I'm just throwing things out, right? That's not the way that's not the way that you get action. Throwing smoke like that, just like Tiffany Henyard does. That's not real. That's not going in the right direction because you're seeing across the United States a move to a more moderate position because we tried the far left. Not we, but there was that, hey, George Floyd, he was a great individual. And then, soured on that when the whole defund the police thing didn't really work out because, it was held up to America. Is this going to be the greatest thing ever? And then it just went wildly sideways and we're paying for it. And Oregon is paying for it in general, Multnomah County in particular with Portland. I mean, they're just being taken to Pound Town because of that kind of policy. And let's decriminalize drugs. Let's let everybody out of the, prison system, the whole justice reform. That's not really going all that well, right? It's just not really going all that well. In private, Fernandez Anderson doesn't shy away from the impact of her blowing this type of smoke on colleagues. She once sent a text to the city council telling them to toughen the F up. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? Your fellow council members might not appreciate that. They won't want to work with you. And your constituents, you're going to have pullback from some. You're going to have pullback from some, if not a lot, because that's not really how you get things done. That's not really how this goes. But if you want to pretend that you're, really getting the action that you need, all right. Whatever the F is the problem, work it out and leave out your evil resentments. Toughen the F up. I don't want to always feel I need to give anyone smoke because when it comes to family, I know we are all capable of becoming warriors. Are we going to war here because that's what warriors are for? Or you're trying to work with your fellow council members and move towards resolutions that help everybody? Because it doesn't really sound like that is happening much. The text message simultaneously asked her colleagues to give up dirty politics. Okay. All right. Council member, referring to her frank manner of speaking, calls herself a language person and says, I think about how to be raw on purpose. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, some people aren't going to respond to that. They're not going to respond to having the F-bomb dropped, in large scale theater. And that's what I would kind of largely call this is theater. Somebody wants to be passionate about what they're defending, what they're supporting. That's one thing. You can do it without just having these, fits and tirades, because that isn't going to work long term. Fernandez Anderson said the goal of her manner of speaking relates to the fact that we should dismantle the white backdrop in America and we should restructure it so that it's welcoming. Okay. All right. I mean, okay. Want to go down that road? It's your call. On another occasion, shortly after October 7th attacks, Fernandez Anderson broke down in tears as colleagues refused to support her resolution, which had originally called Hamas brutal crimes, which included sexual assault, a military operation. That was an invasion. That was a crazy invasion, and Hamas is getting what they deserve. They're getting pounded by Israel. Plain and simple, right? Go after Hamas. Eradicate them. They're terrorists. It's ridiculous. Get up and oppose all killing of all civilians, of all children, not just the ones that line up with your political BS, she said. But aren't you saying to line them up according to your political BS? It kind of seems like that's the deal, right? That kind of seems like that's the deal. According to the source, for the past 6 to 7 months, Fernandez Anderson has been so focused on passing resolutions condemning Israel that the sources said that they believed it was interfering with her ability to function in her regular job duties and service local needs. A recent report found that Fernandez Anderson was one of the worst offenders when it came to absences at city council meetings. You haven't been voting. You haven't been there. Okay, because you're too worked up about supporting terrorists out in the streets with your sign. Is that what you're doing? Kind of sounds like it, right? It's very disturbing, the source said about her statements against Israel. A few days after she took office and mere days after she completed the city's conflict of interest training, Fernandez Anderson put her sister and son on payroll, according to the Massachusetts Ethics Commission. Bringing in family members, that's a slippery slope. That's a slippery slope that oftentimes does not work out. I would throw in there son, sister, husband, current lover, former lover, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it might be. She infamously refused to swear the oath required of elected officials, pledging her allegiance to the United States and to carry out her duties with impartiality. Council member was forced to redo the oath after her non-participation was discovered. This is a real patriot, isn't it? No. Another scandal included her interest in a budget she oversaw that sought to cut $30 million and almost $1 million in funding for the police and veterans. Not shocking. This is a defund the police individual, respectively, which she later said wasn't her fault and blamed other members of the council during a recent hearing. Mayor of Boston vetoed that budget proposal. Source added that they believe the council member was troubled and therefore didn't belong in government. Yeah, that was kind of one of my thoughts watching her speak, was she's wildly passionate to the point where she might have some mental instability. That was my thought. And, I'm entitled to my opinion. This is my podcast. If you don't like it, go watch another one. You know what I mean? That's just kind of what we're doing here. I think she's a troubled person. I don't necessarily want to see someone that's troubled get into more problems, but it's a problem that she's in government and she is absolutely screaming and having fits. And that seems to be a pattern of behavior that some folks in political office feel like they're getting traction with that. And I feel like we're at a time period in history where there's a big pushback on that. It's disassociating yourself from the far left. And that's where this person sits, right? Clearly. It's disassociation from the far left and going with a more moderate approach because they don't want to be associated with the right. Good Lord, those people on the right are extremists. They fly the American flag. They are bad individuals. Those people are patriots. They love America. We don't love America. We love Hamas. Yeah. And so people pushing back on that. It's not a tough call, is it? No, it's not enough. It's not a tough call. And like I said, the White House is doing the same thing. This far left stuff, eradicate all borders. Yeah, we are not polling well with immigration. The number one deal to Americans right now is immigration. And it's because so many people are impacted by it, right? Because all of a sudden, it's not just the border states. It's all states. Yeah. And people have kind of figured that out. Hey, yeah, what about us? What about us? What about us? And I'm talking about people on the low end of the totem pole competing for the same housing, the same benefits, and they've been tax-paying citizens or, wherever they fit into society. And they're watching the far left just basically kowtow to all these illegals coming in. And they're saying, no, that's not the direction we want to be heading in. Election in 2024, it's going to be some wild stuff, right? It's going to be some wild stuff. So I am covering these topics because as part of the broader scope of what we've got going on, I think you've got some real cultural shifts happening, and we're going to cover those. So make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell, hit the like button, share this content with friends and family. Thanks again for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.